Durin, somehow more slothful than the literal sloth operator. Yet like most low-star all-stars, she has managed to become one of the more notorious members of Rhodes. That is, until Myrtle came around, took the place of the best Durin at Rhodes, became an honorary 6 stars, and went on a world-conquering campaign with nothing but an apple and a tablecloth. I wish I was exaggerating. Durin, the race, not the character, named after the eldest of the original 7 dwarves in the Tolkien mythos. Like them, Durin folk are rare to see in Terra. What little we know about them is that they are exploited by other races, of course, they live underground, and that they are great craftsmen. For example, the apple Myrtle carries around is considered to be one of the best art catalysts Rhodes had ever seen. Yet Myrtle's aid is something anyone can buy but at home, further increasing the connection between them and their counterpart of Middle-earth. However, there are another 7 famous dwarfs in the modern collective, those being the 7 dwarfs of this. Okay, let's try this again. I am new here and I don't want to get in trouble with the mouse yet. I will be a bit creative from now on. To make them more appealing for audiences back in 1937, the mouse decided to make them simple, to base their personalities in their names, those being Bashful, Dopey, Grumpy, Sneezy, Dog, Happy, and Sleepy. Seeing where I'm going with this yet? While only 2, it wouldn't be hard to see both Durin and Myrtle as waifu-side versions of Sleepy and Happy. Thus, I came with this theory. What if the next 5 Durins have characteristics resembling that of this the mouse, other 7 dwarfs? Let's start this theory crafting. I am Dokutahblob, and this is Arknights' possible 5 next Durins. My idea is like this. I will try to guess how these other 5 Durins might be, and even go and guess what roles they could have. With nothing else to say, first let's do a fast review of the 2 representatives we already have at Rhodes. Durin. Get used to listen to this name a lot during this video. The original one. While the regular idea to remake Sleepy would have been just to give her narcolepsy, someone on the writing team must have thought that was a bit of an unreliable operator to work with, since narcoleptic people tend to just fall asleep at random, thus deciding to go with something more akin with the original, that being an undisclosed congenital deficiency. That is to say, it's not like she is lazy because she wants to, but rather that her body cannot keep up with physical activities. Well, she is a bit lazy now, but that's actually her accepting her body as it is and coming to terms with her reality. She knows she can do physical activities, and she's fine with it. By going with congenital deficiency over narcolepsy, Durin can be a better copy of Sleepy, because she has a reason behind her tired attitude. Moving on the next and most famous Durin, Myrtle, the honorary 6 stars and MVP of contingency contracts. She is quite simple to explain though. She's just positive. Like, look at her. That is the face of someone who goes out and inspires battalions of people by herself, while also being half of their size. And she clearly enjoys it. Rather than making someone so positive is toxic, Hypercliff went with the best qualities of positive thinking. Those being honest, taking part into problem solving, and admitting when things have to be changed. There is a reason why she has the leader base skill after all. Considering this information, while limited, it gives us some parameters to work with, and start theorizing how the next 5 could be. Those being, physical deficiency or illness can be factored into account, yet not to the point of limiting their abilities. Literal interpretations of the mouse names can be applied, but as an influence to their whole personality, not just a one-note character. Their skills can be linked to the name, either by applying the exact amount of energy to get something done, or by being a literal source of positivity in the battlefield. And that's pretty much it. Not exactly rocket science, but it gives us some space to work with. Starting with the one I'm pretty sure it will be impossible to make just as he was back in 37, the polemical, for some, Dopey. I won't even dare to explain how he was back in the day. I will just point out his most iconic points, thus being his clumsiness and innocent yet forgetful attitude. The simple answer will be to go with a clumsy character, the kind of individual who are always tripping on nothing and forgetting stuff. You know, your Sailor Moon, your Wheatley, your Italy, the character not the country, so on and so forth. Characters who no one knows how they got to their position, not even themselves, yet somehow manage to get things done. That will be the straight answer. However, and as we saw with Durin, the character not the race, there can be a different path. Instead of having a Ditz archetype, Hyperglyph could go with someone with a memory deficiency, not to confuse with amnesia, because we have enough of those already. By memory deficiency, I mean people who literally can't remember stuff or that has problems focusing on something. This could be an actual memory problem or a lack of concentration. In this route, we could get a character who works hard to get things done. Not because he's pushed down by other people, but rather because they want to improve themselves to be useful for others. We could have a mini underdog story with them, but not intended. I see such a character either being a slow supporter or abiding specialist. In both cases, the slow will not be the result of their original intention, but rather the result of some clumsy action. We can even go with an anime power-up when they get serious, to fit with the underdog route. When everything starts to go south, they start to pull an ex machina out of their arse by calling the power of friendship. But then again, this is Terra. The moment they try this, they could be hit by 13 different catastrophes. And then an actual catastrophe, just for good measure. Bad luck will be in line with this character after all. Next on the chopping block, Sneezy. Not gonna lie, I did forget he existed most of the time. Other than his running gag that he did something for the story, back on topic. Sneezy will also be an easy pick. Allergies. Just that, like Myrtle, we are going the straight route here. This Durin will have a long list of airborne allergies that, while not lethal, will make them have to use a breathing mask most of the time, as to avoid a sneezing attack or a running nose. I guess they will be similar to Weedy in regard of hygiene, but this one focuses on air pollution. And since most operators makes use of their knowledge regardless of their combat applications, like Potenko, my guess will be a debuffer support, as this Durin will know which allergenics are more effective with each race. I mean, irritating gases already exist in real life. I don't see why such a similar tool wouldn't be used in a combat situation. It will be a hell of a lot more human than whatever Potenko does to our enemies. Moving on, the tier 1 will be another easy one. Bashful. Let's not beat around the bush. Anxiety. Of the stage fright variety. Since Jessica already has self-esteem problems, it is only fair to go with something different. Individuals with these characteristics can't face large groups of people, or even small ones when they become the center of attention. When not trying to overcome said anxiety, this individual will often try to keep to themselves and avoid the spotlight, working best behind the scenes. Given how most of the roles in Arknights are quite dramatic, it will be difficult to fit such an individual at just any role. However, there is a role that fits perfectly: defenders. With the exception of those who are boisterous by nature, most defenders are quite quiet and reserved. Just look at the arguably best defender of the game. The epitome of stoicism. That even the one defender with a giant mech prefers to spend time on herself, her machines, and trying to get her Nesan to notice her. Thus, a defender role will be a perfect fit by someone who doesn't want to be seen by the crowd. Fourth, none other than good old Doc. However, we will need to discuss this one a bit more, mostly because, unlike the other dwarves, he had a bit more of a deeper character. Doc is the smart guy who seems to be the leader, albeit barely. Someone who goes by the book more than improvisation, and that starts stammering the moment something doesn't go as planned. Here we have to consider Myrtle's role in Rhodes, that being of a leader. So where does that leave Durin? Easy, as a leader wannabe. The character who goes strictly by the rules and in accordance with guidelines, yet gets completely lost the moment things doesn't go as planned, not unlike police chiefs in all detective movies like Lethal Gun or Last Action Hero. Jeebus, the 90s were almost 20 years ago. Anyway, on a different approach but with a similar focus, it could be a complete stick in the mud. Someone who only follows the rules and goes about their life as established by the rulebook. Honestly, I don't see this iteration as an interesting one. It could work if good writing is used, like a reason why this Durin is so strict or how they do this for a greater good. We already have Doberman, who isn't that far from this archetype, so I guess it could work out. Back on topic. As for the role this dog would fill, it will either be a literal dog, a medic, or a supporter like Sora and Scalter, doing their best to keep order in the battlefield. Originally, I thought of the possibility of having the Doctor becoming an honorary Durin when we eventually reach that realm, thus filling the quota for a dog among the 7. And while interesting, it kind of defeats the point of this video, so apologies, but we aren't becoming an honorary Durin just yet. Finally, my favorite one from the bunch, Grumpy. Like Doc, this one requires a bit of an explaining, since he is also a bit deeper than the other dwarves. Albeit slightly. Grumpy was made for the adults, both as an audience surrogate and as a way to balance things out with the overly cutesy stuff of the movie. He's distant, suspicious and rude, yet direct, honest, and the first to spring into action when needed. He is the only one who didn't trust the princess from the get-go, and even the first one to give Grimhild chase. I wonder if I'm still in the clip with this one. This characteristic we have already seen in other operators and roles, mostly those who have already seen a lot of the world. To keep things short, pun not intended, I see a Durin Grumpy as a mercenary, not unlike Scavenger or Frostleaf, someone jaded by all the things they have seen in the world, thus keeping people at bay, but also someone who doesn't mince their words, and speak whatever it is on their mind, be it rude or not. That depends on who's listening. As such, and as most mercenaries currently under our payroll, I would say a guard would be a perfect role for this Durin. This is Arknights after all. Now, which kind? The more I think about it, the harder it is to choose one. Durin are renowned for their craftsmanship, so a ranger guard will fit if they come with a proper weapon. But we also have Myrtle and her apple. Durin can create very effective tools to channel arts with, so an arts guard could also be a possibility. But then if we return to Tolkien, we have the most famous part of dwarves in fiction, that being their strength and durability. So both Duelist guards and AoE guards could also be viable options. This time, I'm at an impasse. I don't know which role could fit, but I am most definitely certain a guard role will fit perfectly, or then Hypergriff could just go and pull a Gavial on us and make them a medic. And with this the list is over. Each and every one of the most dwarves turned into possible operators. Do I feel optimistic of my predictions? Hell no. I don't even know if this theory is real. I just wanted to have some fun and get this done with. But what do you think? Does this theory hold any water? Or do you have any different roles in mind? Please let me know in the commentaries. I would love nothing else but to see what we can come with. For now, this has been a pleasure to make. Not only did I enjoy talking about this idea that has been festering in my mind for some time now, but also because I wanted to try something less restrictive than psychological analysis. But anyway, I am Dokutahblob, and this has been my crazy ramblings. So until next time, stay healthy everyone, and beware the mouse.